Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are actually going to run over to an extended family member's property, and he's been an avid hunter for decades. In this video, we're actually going to take a deep dive into his life and being a whitetail hunter and just what's his opinion on how to get the best results if you are trying to harvest a big whitetail. Next to you.
Don't get too close.
Don't get too close here. Better yet, you get closer to me about 2 inches, I think. I think that'll be good. We'll be able to burn up a little bit of video. More or less. How do we know each other, Marvin? By association? I think we're what? Extended family by association. Okay.
Absolutely.
You've been an avid hunter throughout your entire life. You grew up in a small town here in Texas. What is your favorite aspect of hunting? That's something that I want to ask because I know it's you know, and some people feel maybe different about it earlier in life than they do later in life. And I think that's a good question to start with.
I think mine was, I had my kids, 3 boys, and they were 16 months apart. And as soon as I could get them in a deer blind, the better I felt.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, and whether it was fishing or hunting or whatever, when I tried to leave the house, I had, one on this leg and one on this leg, dragging along with me. That was a big part of me getting involved in hunting and fishing them.
You guys time to bond, I think, and I think a lot of fathers out there would agree that the time that they spend with their son or daughter, that when they go out and they get that one-on-one time in the nature, away from the city or the neighborhood that they live in, anybody would agree that that's a really special time to bond with the people they care about.
Whether you have a daughter or a son, well, in my case, I only had sons, and the only thing that got into my idea and my wanting to go hunting with the boys is they discovered women.
Well, some of the best long distance shooters out there are actually female.
My wife is without question, the best marksman I have ever been around. She is a tack driver. She will not pull the trigger unless she knows exactly where that bullet's going to hit.
That's everything. That's key.
I never will forget my grandson. He was 7 years old, and I took him over to my nephew's ranch. I was wanting him to shoot a call buck, which over at my nephew's, anything that had 8 points was considered to be that's a shooter. And I had him at 50 yards with probably a 155 8 point.
A very intimidating buck for most adults.
Turned out to be exactly that type. And I had already schooled him and said, look, I don't want you to pull the trigger just because you want to kill a deer. I want you to pull the trigger when you're comfortable. I said, if you start shaking and the blind starts shaking, then it's time to put the gun down. He tried to get the deer in his sights, but he was shaking so bad that he finally looked at me and I said, just put it down. Let's talk a little bit. The minute he put the gun down, he started leaving out. But about a 148, 149 was in the picture. And he was about 75 yards. So I said, how do you feel? This was 10 or 15 minutes after he finally calmed down. I said, how do you feel? I said, can you get on that deer? he said, oh yeah, oh, I got him. And I said, well, go ahead and pull the trigger. And he made a great shot on the deer. The reward for that was when we were looking, and I told him, I said, before we try to go in the woods and go running up on a deer that's wounded, why don't we find some blood first? And so he started calling it out. He said, blood there, blood here, blood there, ooh, blood up there. And I wouldn't let him look forward. I just said, concentrate on blood.
You'd already seen it, but
yeah,
you knew exactly
I had
where he
already
was.
seen him on the ground, and finally we were about 15 yards from him, and I said, look right over there. And he came over and he hugged my leg like, I can't even tell you.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was number one.
Credentials, got to mention credentials. So you have been involved in hunting whitetail throughout Texas pretty much your entire adult life. Creeping up on 80, which is tough to say because you're extremely active.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out there working, the temperature's triple digits, it's 102 degrees. This guy is out there with his tractor and moving brush and, you know, cutting and clearing grass and all kinds of things. We're out on a large family property that you manage a little over 100 acres to yourself.
Yeah.
And it's you and
Yeah.
Miss Nancy for the video because we know she'll probably watch this. You've got a nephew that's up in the Texas Hill Country, more or less, right on the border of it. This game ranch that your nephew has is specifically for whitetail and whitetail only, correct?
No exotics.
No exotics. So this is a large game ranch. How many acres is on this?
2,000 acres.
2,000 acres.
And I have been on that ranch for, I want to say 14 years. Matter of fact, we've had hunters come down saying, oh my gosh, I like that one. Well, I said, well, you're gonna have to come back in 3 years.
Matter of fact, I recall there being a lot of the coal bucks that you guys have pulled off of the property. Y'all have actually accumulated a nice collection of antlers throughout that process of managing the large whitetail population out on your nephew's place. Some of them are hanging around the patio, and I mean, these are, I'll probably show some on the camera, but I mean, these are, you know, what a lot of folks, you know,
a trophy.
It would call it a trophy. I mean, just beautiful, large 8-9 point bucks. With 15, 16-inch spreads on them. I mean, they would score easily in the 130s to 150s all day. I like the process of butchering and making jerky and handing it out to family, friends, co-workers. I think that,
which, by the way,
do
you like deer sausage?
I love sausage. Deer sausage included is my favorite.
Summer
sausage.
I make regular sausage.
Just regular sausage.
Smoked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those are always
before
good.
you get out of here, I'll give you some. But
I'll take a couple links off your hands. I'm happy to do that.
I'll let you do
We're at one of the lowest points in the United States. The deer, I mean, we're about 40 miles from the King Ranch, more or less. We're not that far away.
No.
This is considered
38 miles.
38 miles. Okay, you actually know the specifics. I was just taking a guess. This place is a highly praised, highly sought after area for its whitetail.
If you recall, the Muy Grande was the first big deer contest. But that's
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Muy Grande in Freer, Texas.
Well, Muy Grande, right?
Yeah, this is probably some of the best property that our forefathers bought and kept within the family. And we have 6 different families out here. There's a guy about 2 miles down the road that has been very successful in taking big deer into Muy Grande and winning in a bunch of different categories, but he is very active in the Muy Grande.
At at this point in your life, you know, like you said, if you weren't helping your nephew manage a 2,000 acre game ranch in Texas, you have no reason nor desire to shoot any whitetail out here. Much rather pass that experience to one of your younger family members, because I think a lot of
older.
Well, that too. I'm creeping up, and I'm getting in my mid-30s, so I'm getting into that older bracket. I think a lot of hunters reach a point in their hunting career, if you will, where they've already harvested enough deer and the excitement is gone, and really and it might be life circumstance too. Life changes for us all. Hell, there's only about 21 deer and 12 turkeys out there. Right now, Marvelous Marvin's gonna back out his UTV, and we're actually gonna feed some of the whitetail that are out here on his property. So check this out. Retired whitetail hunter. It's much more enjoyable to just watch them live their life and to see how they act. And you take care of them at a distance, more or less.
I agree.
And I think a lot of gentlemen feel that way later in life as they put down the rifle. And I guess that's kind of more or less what I really wanted to talk about, is that you're a gentleman that has put down your rifle, or you've handed it off to your grandchildren. And you've reached that spot where enjoying them for what they are as they live and breathe is more important to you than trying to collect protein off of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just a tad taller than you. So I just want to make sure that I'm not too far out of the mix.
Well, I'm
good. I set the camera specifically for you, because the thing that I really love about putting videos together, I think this is a nice way to leave something behind. And I don't want to dive into all aspects of your life, because you're quite the well-rounded individual. And my joke is I call you Marvelous Marvin. And I mean, I say that not as a joke, but also as a compliment, because a lot of people find you to be an extremely nice person to be around. You're very hospitable.
They don't know me very well.
Well, I don't know. You keep letting them drink your bourbon. I think you're doing too good of a job.
That's a good point.
What do you think would be a good thing what's something that maybe you want to have on the record, you think would be good to talk about that kind of ties into this lifestyle? You know, something that you think would be maybe a good opinion, not necessarily the right way or the correct way, but a good opinion to offer up to others that might be willing to listen.
If you want big bucks on your property, let them grow up.
And define that, because other people might have a different definition of what is considered, like you said.
You know, I have been in big buck country, big guys, and I've seen 280s. This used to be the muy grande winners for the state of Texas right here.
I think you showed me a newspaper clipping,
yes.
and the spread on that guy was over 27 inches or more. It was like a 30-inch spread between the main beams. So,
but he lets his deer grow up before he shoots them. And for me, the ranch that I spend my time at, we don't shoot a deer unless he's 6.5, 7 years old.
Himself, I would imagine, he's tracking the deer. Y'all have pictures and game cameras everywhere. So y'all assign like maybe a name or a way to remember a certain particular deer, and you'll watch them. Most of them, especially the special ones, of course, too. And you'll see their transition over the years.
Oh, we have the freak over there.
Yeah, well, no, we'll have to grab him real quick.
When I shot him,
this is a really unique antler spread. And this is a buck that you harvested, over, 10, 12 years ago, right?
Probably 8 years ago.
About 8 years ago.
And
that's an extremely interesting
the game biologist asked me if he could have him because he wanted it too.
But
that's a 11 point. Even though he doesn't look like it, but he is 11 point.
And I had an old redneck from Central Texas tell me if you can take your wedding ring and put it on one of the tines, then it's considered a point. And if it doesn't fall off, what does Boone and Crockett say?
1 inch, baby.
It's got to be at least 1 inch.
1 inch.
If it doesn't count unless it's an inch.
No,
that's what she said.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've got a lot of good little clips out of this. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Let him grow up. That's the only thing I want to tell the world.
I don't mean to. I know the sun is setting, and so are you.
I am setting, by the way.
You're good. I'm going to get out of your hair. Man, this is one of the best times of day. As always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We hope it helped you in one way or another. And special thanks to Marvelous Marvin for letting us go over to his place, for him being so generous to share his bourbon, which was really appreciated. So thank you, Marvin. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.